Welcome to our Devos. We are talking about the reality of resurrection. We are talking about how we can not only have faith and hope in the power of the resurrection, but we're talking more so about how we can, as Christians, feel the confidence in believing that the resurrection took place. Now, this is something fascinating. One of the things that people overlook as something that really gives us even more evidence about why the resurrection happened historically is something that really is connected to the culture at the time. And it's simply this: the women witnessed first. The women witnessed first. Now, I'm going to share the scripture with you, and then I'm going to give you the explanation as to why this is important. In Matthew chapter 28, verses 5 through 7, it says, "The angel said to the women that came to the tomb, 'Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Jesus who is crucified. He's not here. He has risen, as he said. Come, see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples that he has risen from the grave. And behold, he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him. See, I have told you.'" Now, the first preachers who were given the task of speaking about Jesus' resurrection were the women. Why is this unique? It's unique in this type of writing because back then the testimony of women did not hold the weight that it did now. Right now, a woman and a man testify in court. A woman is going to get the same amount of gravity as a man does. In fact, some cases and a lot of cases it might be even more credible than some men, right? Okay, but here in this culture, women weren't looked at this way. So here's what's amazing. The disciples, and I should say the authors of the Gospels, chose to record that Jesus was seen by the women first. Why? They did it because they were accounting something that actually happened. And Peter and James and John and the rest of the disciples went out and began to preach because not only did they believe the women, but guess what? They also saw Jesus. So it wasn't like, hey, the women told us this story and we believed it and now Jesus is alive. No, they also saw. So the women saw first, but then the disciples, Peter sees, and then the disciples see, and then he appears to over 500 people, but the women are recorded as to having seen him first. And the men went to investigate because initially they didn't believe it. It says that they believed that this was a tale being told. So why is this important? It's important because even the writers of Scripture are like, look, this started with women, but everybody accepted that Jesus rose from the grave. All of us did. And this shows you that there's layers of proof upon proof as to why we can believe that Jesus rose from the grave. It wasn't just restricted to a couple people. It was restricted first to the women, then to the disciples, then to 500 others, where numerous times Jesus appeared, and then he ascended. So, again, God even shows you, look, I cut through all culture here, appearing to women first, then to the disciples. And the disciples are like, look, the women told us, we didn't believe it. We went and investigated. We found them. Then he spoke to us. This is something that was spread throughout. And anybody reading this ancient literature will go, holy moly, they're even saying the women saw it first and they didn't believe it and then they investigated it and then they believed it. Like, so you see here a trail. Now, I'm not going to bite on any conspiracy theories, okay? But there's something in the JFK files. If you read, not the files, but if you look at the account of JFK's assassination, there is the bullet that supposedly struck President Kennedy when he was assassinated. And there's something that you follow in that bullet called the chain of custody. The chain of custody. And what that did was that bullet couldn't leave the custody of somebody unless it was first signed into evidence. Like, okay, Sam had the bullet first. Then he passed it off to Pastor Jason, and Jason would sign. Okay, it was passed off at this time, this date, this time, this date. And finally, you see that there is an accounting of where the bullet was through the chain of custody. Well, just like that, there's a revelation in the Scriptures of how Jesus chose to reveal himself in an evidentiary way to the disciples to prove, hey, you know what, I am alive. Hey, you know what, this isn't just a one-off where you're going to see me here, see me there. He's going to appear to all of these people so that we can have confidence. And without faith, it's impossible to please God. And it's true. And you need faith to believe in this. But you know what? God is so gracious that he gave us proof that there are other ways that we can say that this is something that pretty much we're sure happened. That like you could have a logical conversation. People do this on Joe Rogan's podcast. People do this in public debates, that the resurrection is a logical conclusion to the events leading up to Jesus' ascension into heaven. So we believe it because it happened. We know it because we know him. And we can have hope because the resurrection is real.